Okay, we're gonna start knitting the Astro Braid Headband, and I call it the Astro Braid Headband because I use Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick in colorway Astroland, and that's what this is right here. It's very cool. It phases through different multi-colors, and even on the back, it's very bright on the back of this one. That's what's fun with working with yarn that changes colors throughout, because it surprises you sometimes. But all of this is in the back, and here is your seam right here. You can kind of barely tell because we use a provisional cast on and seam it up with a Kitcheneer stitch. So it's actually very cool, soft and chunky headband, braided. It's pretty. Okay. Today I'm going to use crushed velvet. It is also a Lion Brand Wool Ease Thick and Quick in the color Crushed Velvet. And I just grabbed some waste yarn for the cast on. It is called a provisional cast on. And if you don't know how to do this, follow along very carefully. But what you're going to do is just take the end of your yarn that you are going to use. I'm going to use that one. And you take your waste yarn and you tie a knot at the end. Okay, we're going to hold that knot. I am right-handed, so if you knit left-handed, I'd assume you'd hold it on the other side. But so we're going to take our needle, we're going to cast on, and it's kind of like the same as a long tail cast on, except for you're trying to make it so that this cast on is live and you'll be able to use it at the end to sew up the seam. So you put your waste yarn on top, the yarn you want on the bottom, and your needle in your hand with the knot. Okay. So we're gonna go in between. You're gonna pick up the bottom, go over the top waste yarn, and then go through. So hopefully we can figure that out. So see, we have 4 stitches on now. Go in the middle, over the top, and back through the middle. In the middle, over the top, back through the middle. And we're casting on 13 of these stitches. And because it's an uneven number, sometimes I'll drop this last one. It's attached to the knot. So let's see, what do we got? Make sure you keep this tight down here. So keep it in your fingers. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. But that was 13. So now we're going to try to leave it together like that. I'm going to cut this off because I don't need it anymore. Okay, so I just kind of cut the waste yarn because we don't need it long. And and it doesn't matter what color the waste yarn is, it's not going to be in your project. But you, at this point, you are going to keep it over here until we finish this row. Kind of keep it like that. And we're going to start with knitting across that first row. Okay, and we can just let that off, turn it over. We're going to kind of make sure we do the same thing and hold that waste yarn. Now we're going to knit 2. We're going to start with our pattern. And our pattern goes as such. So that was a knit row. Row 2 is knit 2, 1, 2, and you're gonna purl 9. So that was our knit, and then purl, you bring the yarn to the front and go directly in to the right side of the stitch, and then you wrap it around. So if you are a beginner knitter, this might be a good way to learn how to knit and purl. So we knit 2, we're purling 9, so that will leave, and then you knit 2 again. So once you get down to the last 2 stitches, you're going to bring the yarn to the back and knit 1 and knit 2. Okay, so that was row 2. Now we're going to knit 2 again for row 3. Actually, row 3 is knit 5, sorry, excuse me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And this is where the fun starts. We're gonna use our cable needle. And this is the row 3 where it's knit 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then cable 6 front. It's C6F is the abbreviation. So you're gonna take 3 stitches, and you're gonna hold them to the front, and you're gonna knit 3. Okay, and you're gonna take these off of the cable needle onto your left needle. Put the cable needle down. And it tends to get a little tight, and then you're going to knit those 3. 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to knit the last 2. 1, 2. Okay. And then every wrong side row is a knit 2. 1, 2, purl 9. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then knit 2. The side stitches, your cable's going to go down the middle of this side 2 stitches and this side 2 stitches. And this is where all the cabling happens. Okay, now we're on row 5, which is just knit all the way down. You're going to knit all 13 stitches. Now the back side is always knit 2, purl 9, knit 2. Knit 2, bring your yarn to the front, and purl 9. Knit 2. Okay, now we are on row 7, and this is another cable row. So row 3 and row 7 are cable rows where you need the cable needle. Now we're going to knit 2 and C6B, which is cabling 6 stitches, holding those first 3. So knit 2, put 3 on the cable needle and hold them in the back. That is very important. Hold them in the back. And you're going to work in the front. And you're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to take those 3 stitches off of the cable needle, put them onto your left needle, and knit them. Okay, and then the rest of the stitches, there's 5 of them, you're gonna knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now we are on row 8, which is the last row of the pattern. There's 8 rows, and it's on the wrong side, so we're going to knit 2, purl 9, knit 2. Okay, so now you can see how, you don't see the braid yet, but you see how this is going that way and that's going that way now. Okay, so now you repeat rows 1 through 8 until you reach about 16 to 18 inches, or it's about 8 times. The 16-inch size is a little tighter for like teens or smaller heads, and then the 18 is for extra large heads or someone with a lot of hair. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do rows 1 through 8 one more time with you, and then I'll come back on to show you how to do the kitcheneer stitch to seam it back together. So row 1, you're just knitting across. Okay, row 2 is knit 2, purl 9, knit 2. Okay, and then row 3 is a cable row. Now here I want you to see, so if you get lost in what row you're on, you can kind of see, oh, now it looks like I need a cable on this side because it's so wide here. So we need to make part of the braid. So we're going to knit 5 for row 3. We're going to pick up 3 stitches with our cable needle. Put it in the front and knit 3, Then you're going to take this side and knit those three. And knit the last two. Starting to see the braid. Okay, and this is a wrong side row, which is row 4. Knit 2, purl 9. And purl 2, or sorry, knit 2. So knit 2, purl 9, knit 2 on that row 4. Row 5 is a knit row, so we just knit all 13 stitches. Okay, so that was row 5. Now we're on row 6, and it is a wrong side row, which is knit 2, purl 9, knit 2. Okay, now we are on row 7, which is a cable row. So see, you can kind of see it looks like we need to cable some stitches over here. Okay, to create that braid. Knit 2 and C6B. So cable, put 3 on the cable and put it in the back. It's very important. In the back. And 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna put the 3 that are on the cable needle, put them on your left needle, and knit them. And then you're going to knit the rest of the row, which is 5 stitches. Knit 5. 1, 2. Okay, you can see how the braid is coming along. And that was row 7, so we're going to do row 8, which is to complete the pattern. It's knit 2, purl 9. Knit those last 2 stitches. So that's 2 sets. 16, we just did 16 rows. If you can see the braid. Okay, I will come back and show you how to do, after I get my 16 to 18 inches, I will show you how to do the kitchenaire stitch. All right, so I'm back here with my a little over 16 inches. I have about 17 inches here on my cable, my cabled headband. So you have your, you want to end on, the pattern is over 8 rows and you want to end on row 7 so that we can have the working yarn on your left needle, because you're going to be folding it in half. You're going to fold it in half, and you have your provisional cast on here. We're going to take our working yarn, and we're going to cut it about, you know, I'm going to say like 8 to 10 inches maybe, or over that. You don't want it to be super long. You just want it to be long enough so that you can do the kitchenaire stitch on your seam. So we're gonna put it on our tapestry needle, or darning needle, whatever you want to call it. I like to use the plastic ones because they bend. Oops. And they tend to have a bigger hole for this bulkier yarn. Okay, so you get that through there. And then you're gonna take this side that has the provisional cast on side. My mind goes blank when I'm making videos or even teaching someone how to knit terminology. So we're gonna put this on here. And once you get it, get your provisional cast on, you kind of want all the stitches to be facing the right direction. Once you get it on the needle, you can pull out the waste yarn. So see what I'm doing. And make sure that you're putting 13, you have a total of 13 stitches that you cast on with the waste yarn. The last one, 13. When you're doing a kitchen stitch, you always want the tail that you're using to be on the back needle. So this is going to be what was once your left needle. It's going to be your back needle. And then this is your front needle. Okay, so we have our yarn here, and to set up the stitches, oops, sorry, out of view. To set up the stitches, you're gonna purl in that front stitch, purlwise, I guess, and then you're gonna knit wise with the tail into the back stitch. So I don't know if you saw that, I went in there, pulled it through. Okay, so that's the setup, that's how you start. And then you're going to knit that stitch off and purl that one. Okay, and then you're going to purl this stitch off and knit the second one. Okay, and that's how the pattern goes. So front needle is knit off, purl on is kind of how I like to remember. And then the back needle is purl off, knit on, because you have to leave it on. Okay, and then whatever you ended with on the back needle, you start with on the front needle, but take it off. So knit off, purl on. Also, one thing to note is that the reason I like the kitchen stitch is because you hold the right side of the pattern out and you sew up the seam that way, and it kind of just blends it together, and it looks nice. Okay, so we purled that one, so we're going to purl off, knit on, knit off, purl on, purl off, knit on in that back. Okay, on the front, knit off, purl, I feel like this is twisted, purl on. Sorry if that was confusing, I was fixing the way of the stitch so that it blends a little bit better. Okay, purl off, knit on, knit off, purl on. And then purl off and knit on. So now we're down to the last couple of stitches, and all you're gonna do is do that first stitch on the first needle, a knit off, and then on the back needle a purl off, and pull the tail, and you have this beautiful seam. Almost looks seamless. If it was just normal stockinette stitch all the way through, it would definitely look seamless, but because we have the cables, you could still kind of see the seam, but it's still pretty. Okay, then we're gonna take our tail and you just weave in the end here on the edge and then into the back side. So you got that side weaved in, and you just cut it off, and see we no longer have our waste yarn in there, but we want to weave in our cast on yarn, our cast on tail here. So we're going to do the same thing. Nice and secure, snip it. And there you have it. You have a very warm, chunky headband. There we go. And you're all done. Happy knitting.